NATO was created to defend Europe, but recent events raise a serious question. Does the alliance that is supposed to protect Europe also limit its sovereignty? Because when crises strike, those who hold and wield real power are often revealed. And the ongoing Israeli-US war on Iran and Lebanon demonstrate this clearly, much to Europe's chagrin. Hello, I'm Michael. This is Southern Realism, a channel about power, geopolitics, and decline. U.S. President Donald Trump recently condemned Spain, and he did so for refusing to allow U.S. warplanes to use Spanish airfields on their way to bomb Iran. And Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has stood very firm on this issue. Trump threatened to cut off all trade with Spain over this. And then Trump went further. He said that he would use the airfields if he wanted, and no one could stop him. Now, this is an ally speaking. How did we get here? Well, Europe relies heavily on the United States for its defense. That was true in 1945, and it's true today in 2026. There are about 85,000 U.S. troops stationed in Europe, and Europe relies heavily on the United States for logistics and for high technology, and the United States also has its global bases. So Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, he's a hawkish Dutch politician. He recently spoke to EU lawmakers, and he said, if anyone thinks here that the European Union or Europe as a whole can defend itself without the U.S., keep on dreaming. You can't. That was a remarkable statement. And this is why the Spanish situation is possible, because Europe is dependent on the United States. This is a leftover from World War II and the Cold War. But the thing about dependency is that it reduces leverage. And Spain had very little leverage in this situation. And this gets at the issue of sovereignty. Because if Europe relies on the U.S. for security, then during a crisis, can Europe really tell the U.S. no? What if Washington, D.C. decides differently? And this is the core dilemma. The alliance that is supposed to protect Europe may also constrain its independence. So NATO was created to defend Europe, but the question Europe may increasingly face is whether security and sovereignty can both be preserved inside the same alliance.